And away we go. Welcome into the Sports Edge, powered by SportsHandicapper.com. I'm the Squatch Dan Leach, and here are the band of merry men. We've got Jam Sam here. I know Starsky isn't with you. He'll be in and out. But golf it's the last time we will ever have a wraparound schedule on the PGA Tour, Jamie. The fortnight underway. We'll get into that in a minute. But you got to be excited. Golf's back.
Yeah, no, it was actually nice to get back into looking at some golf numbers this week. I managed to get everything updated over the last couple of months, and it was actually nice to actually get stuck into an event again. So, however, I wish I'd have done next week's because my players aren't doing that good right now, but we shall see what happens over the weekend.
We shall see. And here, just off a bus ride to Cape Cod, Seal, the champ of the Westgate. How you feeling on this Friday?
The first week wasn't bad.
You had some solid college stuff, South Alabama.
Yeah, that was unfortunately the other game that was 7 points didn't win. But what are you going to do?
You can't win them all, but you're the champ for a reason. All right, Seal, stick around. Go back to the lab for a minute. We'll get back with you in a second. But Jamie, let's talk about golf here. And I'm going to throw up Scratch Caddy, your great website, in a second. But we've had a lot of discussion, you and I, on the show over the last couple of months about LIV, and my aversion to it, and not that we're necessarily going to get into the betting aspects of LIV or anything today, but I just wanted to ask you, as you get ready or got ready for the season, and now we're underway, and we're going to have a few decent tournaments the next couple of months before it really starts getting going next year, and then leading into the Masters, of course. When you go to your lab and do all your numbers and all the different things that you do that has made you successful with ScratchCaddy.com, with the guys that have left for LIV, whether it's DeChambeau, who I know has been a selection of years in the past, Dustin Johnson, who's been a selection of years in the past, and some of these other guys, Cam Smith, of course, won the British Open, the Open Championship. Is that changing anything? Like, obviously, the field this week in the Fortinet, which we'll get into in a minute, is pretty weak. But yes, Cam Smith's the only top 10 player, but there are some players in other fields that are no longer going to be in those fields, and I wonder if it's going to change much for you.
Well, no, I mean, I base a lot of my stuff off of the situation regarding a particular event. So when is it being played? Where is it being played? What are the course conditions? What kind of par is it? What kind of grass are they using on the greens? And I'll use all of that information for that particular event and then go back in history and look at events with similar conditions under similar situations. And then I'll try and grab out the players who have performed well in those conditions before. And again, I mean, it's kind of irrelevant as to who's in the field. I mean, the only problem is that, I mean, the great thing, I mean, the thing to look at this week, Maverick McNeely was a very popular pick this week for a lot of people. And I put him up as well, simply because, California kid, all of his best performances have always been on the Poa Noa greens. They've got some Poa Noa in these greens over here. But last year, you got 60 to 1 on him. I'm getting 25 to 1 on him right now. And the problem is, what's he really done in between? Nothing, to be honest with you. But everybody has the bookmakers have kind of gone on board with, okay, this is where this kid is probably going to play. If he's going to win on tour, it's probably going to be in one of these 3, 4, or 5 events. And this was one of those events. So you're taking 25, 23 to 1 about a player who, as you know, last year, we were on him at 60 to 1. We had Max Homa last year who won it at 40s, and Maverick McNeely was at 60s. I mean, look at that again as well. Max Homa this week, he went off about 14, 16 to 1, I think. And we've got him at 40 to 1 last year.
Right.
So, and okay, Max Homa went on and had a good season, but hey, listen, Homa now he's in the favorite position. He's in his first ever USA team event next week. Is that going to chat? Is him defending his title more important than putting up a good showing in a team event and hopefully getting into the next Ryder Cup? He's one of the things that you need, or what I think about.
No, it's well said. And I want to throw the site up here. And, there might be people that have watched the show before that are very familiar with it. Others might not be. And I think it's important we kind of explain to the new people just why you've had the success you have. And of course, there's all the latest news and everything. But I'm going to go to the Fortinet Championship tab here, and you've got your worksheet. And this is something that I've given you praise for years now. It's just amazing, the work that you do, the guesswork you take out for people, the legwork you do for everyone, so they don't have to worry about doing it. And just, if you would, you kind of touched on it a little bit there, when I asked you the question about Liv and some of the guys not being in the fields anymore. Explain again what you're doing. I mean, obviously people can see you have course form up there, recent form, California form, those POA greens. It all goes into this kind of formula of figuring out, not just based on who's got a great chance to win, but also the value of them. I mean, you mentioned Homa being one of the favorites. I mean, 40-1 last year, 14-1 this year. You're looking for guys. Yes, there's certain weeks where you're going to take a 10 or 15-1, but you're looking for those 30-1s, those 50-1s, those 125-1s. That's where, if you get a few of those over a 4-month stretch, you're going to be not just profitable, you might win a ton of money. And that's why I think golf betting, to me, I mean, of course, I love the NFL, I love college, I love betting on, marble racing. But to me, I think that horse racing and golf have the overall best value. I turned $4 into $1,400 in an hour last week on this pick 3 at Kentucky Downs. In golf, over a 4-day stretch, you can bet $50 and win $5,000 on a guy that's 100-1. And you've had multiple 100-1s and 200-1s and 80-1s and 90-1s in the last year that have won on the PGA Tour. So just explain, if you can, kind of a brief view of what people are looking at here with your worksheet. So
if you do me a favor, Dan, if you just scroll down there to Tom Hoge.
Sure.
He was a player who I really liked this year. So if you look at Tom Hoge's figures, he's had some great form there over in California. This again is a par 72. It's a short par 72 as well, which is exactly the same as Pebble Beach, where he already won at in California. Okay, Pebble Beach is links, it's coastal, I get that, but it's a short par 72 with these bent POA and Noah greens. So we had some great form there in California. Came 10th last time out there in the Tour Championship, but obviously that was with a graduated starting position, right? He actually came 5th. So he was 5th in the field last week. If everybody started last time out, if everybody started on the same score. So he's got the recent form. He's had 20. He's made the cut the last couple of times here, and he's got a great record in California. He's already won on a short par 72, and you can pick him up at 33, 40-1. Now again, he's only that 33-1. It's what, a 3% chance of winning? Okay, that's fine, but those are the kind of things that I'm definitely looking at. These guys, I mean, if you look when Tom Hoge won as well last year, it was on the back of some good recent form. And there's no better recent form here in the field than what he did there at the Tour Championship a couple of weeks ago. All of these numbers, they don't lie. These are the official finishing positions. So, well, you know what? He got lucky with a bad break there, or he got lucky there with that kick in, else he should have gone out of bounds. This is just the numbers. And those numbers don't lie. That's where he's come. But it's not just 1 or 2 events. As you can see, there's about 13 or 14 events there that have been played in California, and we've got every single result for them. So, this is built up over, I think that California form there goes back to maybe 2020. So we're nearly 3, and that's every event that's been played in California. So it's not just, oh, well, he played last week. Because, I mean, let's face it, the Tour Championship was played over in Georgia on Bermuda grass greens, a par 70. So you got a par 70 golf course on Bermuda greens. Well, this is a par 72 on bent POA Noah greens. You couldn't get much different, to be honest with you. So you've got to look at the events that are similar to the event that's being played. So that's what I try and do. I try and compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges, and try and try and ignore any of the other chatter that's going on outside, or this guy's great, or that guy's great, or did you see his shot into the 17th or something like that? No, all I care about is the actual factual numbers.
No, and that's what matters.
And that's what I work off.
Yeah, and that's why you've had a lot of success. And I mean, just check out scratchcaddy.com. You can see the worksheet out there. And Jamie, your picks are only on Monday, Tuesday, so people have plenty of time to bet them. Yep. We're going to start doing this show on Wednesdays, at least during this little ramp up with golf. So
yeah, great.
Can kind of hear where you're at. And by the way, Hoagie right now, as we record on a Friday afternoon, he is in the top 20. I mean, unfortunately, Max Homa's, he's not running away with it. He's 11 under, but there's a long way to go. And Hoagie's right there. He's 1 under on the day. He's 4 under for the championship.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier, isn't it, if it's just one guy with a 2 or 3 shot lead, because it's easier for one guy to collapse than it is for 5 or 6 of them. Right. So, and obviously Max Homa in this position, he's going to be the favorite. Everybody's, but does that constitute value? I don't know. I mean, I think we put up Tom Hoagie for plus 1,400 for top 5 as well, which, plus it's a 14-1 winner. So if he can come in there, or at least, you've had a bet for 4 days, and when you're coming down into it, you've got a shot on a Sunday. And that's all you want. You want a shot on a Sunday.
That's all you want. And you back to the value question. I love Max Homa. We've won with Max Homa. But, 14-1 to go back-to-back, it's such a rarity. We saw what Finau did last year, going actually back-to-back in season. But to be the defending champ and win a tournament 2 years in a row, it's only happened a handful of times in 10 years on the PGA Tour. So.
And like I said, he's the defending champion. Okay, the level of the field is pretty much the same, but he wasn't involved in the Ryder Cup last year. Now he's involved in the President's Cup next week. Is that coming into his mind? Is he thinking about that? Is he thinking about Quail Hollow next week? Is he thinking about the team? You don't know what he's thinking about internally, other than when he's swinging the club during that 4 or 5 hour round.
Yep, that's what it's all about. Jamie, great stuff as always. Please check out Scratch Caddy. Jamie, stick around. I'll be back with you in just a bit. Let's bring in the champ of the Westgate of 2021 and everybody's either favorite or least favorite guy. That based on football picks, just personality.
I have a question about golf real quick. Do they still play tournaments out in California, golf?
They're playing right now in California.
Do they have real grass or is AstroTurf?
No, it's Poa Greens. The courses look great. They got plenty of water.
Because I thought they can't use lawnmowers out there.
Okay, so this is not a political show. Get back to.
Well, I was just wondering. I know you can't buy lawnmowers out there.
You know what I'm going to have you do? I'm going to have you go wait in line to see the Queen. I think it's 24 hours right now. David Beckham actually waited for 12 hours. I'm going to send you in line. You're going to wait for the Queen. You're going to be very solemn, and then you're going to pay your respects.
I wouldn't wait 12 minutes, but that's just me. I wouldn't wait 12 minutes for my mother.
All right, let's get back on track here. First off, update on the family. How's Mrs. Seal, livers and onions, and Mitty Seal doing? Obviously better than you.
Yeah, they're fabulous.
Is she around? We got to get a cameo for Mrs. Seal eventually.
She's around here somewhere. It's such a big house. Sometimes I do.
Well, the reason that you live in a mansion is because of all your success with your picks.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What is it, like 6,000 square feet?
No, half of that.
No, I thought it was like 6,200. That's what I was.
Don't stop it. No.
All right, so listen.
I only need 10 feet. That's all I got.
Talk to me about week 1 of the NFL. We're gonna get to college here in a minute. Talk to me about your picks of the Westgate and just what we saw in week 1 of the NFL. A lot of upsets, a lot of underdogs winning outright.
Yeah, it looks to me like everybody says every year the NFL looks like a lot of parity. It looks like a lot of parity. There's a couple great teams out there, and there's a lot of teams to me that are within 3 points of each other. I mean, it's just that's the way it looks. See what happens. I mean, you never know with injuries or anything, but
and I think listen, you know how good you are, Seal, and you know how much I love you, even when you act like an idiot. And I'm not saying I don't act like an idiot sometimes too, but you went against me and Starsky and Sideburns. You thought the Eagles were going to destroy the Lions. What happened with that one?
Their defense collapsed. That was
You knew the Lions. They had covered 7 of 8 home games. The value is with the Lions +4. It closed at 5.5.
Of course. Well, that's why I laid 4.
Right. Well, of course. Well, let me ask you this, and we talked about it last week. I think it's a very important point to harp on. Actually, I gave a talk at a very famous temple in this area called the Dot Shalom, a steak and sports night. You would have loved it, Seal. Could have got you a nice medium rare steak. But someone asked me a question about, lines and how they close. And you had literally just brought this up last week. Someone like you that's one of the sharpest people in the world, you're going to take games when you want to take them, whether it's a Monday, Tuesday, whatever. There are certain times you might take a game later in the week. But when you see those lines, kind of like the lines going from 4 to 5.5, or another game, I know Michigan went from 50 to 52.5, and there were some 53s out there at game time. Those lines settling right before kick have very little to do with sharp money, right? That's all. You would kind of explain it to people again, what's happening right before kickoff a lot of times.
Well, it depends. Like, in line movements, it depends who bets it. Now, if it's a sharp groups that bet it, I respect it. Some of the games move just for public money, but you have to know which is which. That's the key. Right. I mean, believe it or not, the Michigan game, I know a sharp group that laid 50. That's why it closed 52.
Right.
Would I like 50 in a college football game? No.
Never. Well, but you explained this last week, and I thought you explained it beautifully. A lot of times before kick, like the Lions game, I think is a great example. It is public money fueling both the casino, whatever the sports book is, trying to balance their sheet. They want to have action on both sides. So when you see a 4 to 5.5 point move, and it's not an injury, like if Jalen Hurts was out or not out, or if DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams and DJ Shark all end up being out, and the line move a 1.5. A lot of that is to balance it out, because these sportsbook make their money on the juice. They want to have as much action on both sides as they possibly can, because they're just taking free money then, because that way there's, you don't have to worry about who wins the game. They get the 10 cents or the 20 cents.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's how they built Vegas. I mean, let's face it. That's how they built it.
I thought they built it on the backs of the mafia too.
Maybe a little bit of that too. But
all right, before by the way, how did your overall stuff go with the Westgate last week?
4-1.
4-1. What were your plays again?
Miami. The only loser, I think, was the Jets.
And the Jets were a lot of sharps around the Jets plus the points.
Yeah, that was the one loser I had.
I think, did you have
trying to think.
Did you have Washington? No, not Washington.
No, I didn't touch that game. God, I don't remember. But I did.
How can you, the master? No, I'm gonna help you out here, because you talked about it on the show.
I remember.
I know you had Miami. I think also Seattle. Pretty sure you had Seattle.
No.
What about the
Buffalo? Like Buffalo Thursday night.
That's right. You had Buffalo. What about the Patriots? Or I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong week. What about the Saints Falcons game?
No, didn't touch that game.
What about Chiefs Cardinals? I thought Giants. I think you Giants and teasers.
Giants plus 5.5. Yeah.
Yes, Giants. Yeah. Only loss I had last week was the Raiders, by the way. Squatch was 4-1. All right. Well, before we get into this week's NFL, let's talk college. What are we looking at? I'm going to throw the lines up here in a second. Another week where you've got a few good matchups, but a lot of very lopsided spreads. I wonder how you tackled college this week.
Yeah, I usually stay away from those lopsided games.
They're not worth it.
They're garbage betting events to me. I like the Hilltoppers this week, +7.
Ooh, a little Western Kentucky.
Yes, I think they're an underrated team. I'm not so sure how good Indiana is. I know they beat Illinois. They should have lost, and they were let down 10-0 at home to Idaho last week. So I don't know.
What did you take about? Because they're 6.5 right now. People can see.
I took 7. That game's got sharp money on both sides, but most of the smart people like the Hilltoppers.
By the way, going back to a point that we cannot make enough on this show. So you gave out New Mexico last week, 17.5. I know it closed in some places at 17, 16.5. Of course, it finished 17. And if they had listened to you, which obviously people always should, they would have won by a half point. That is the whole thing we're trying to explain and teach people is, does it always happen that way? No, Seal. But that half point or that extra point can be the difference between making extra thousands of dollars a year or losing thousands of dollars, right?
Oh, absolutely. Half points are huge. Humongous.
All right, where else are we going with college? We got the Hilltoppers, by the way, if people are wondering. That is game number 119, 120. It's a noon game tomorrow. What else we got college-wise?
Let's see. What else did I bet?
Anything tonight on the Friday slate?
Nothing tonight. Nothing tonight.
I will tell you, I do like Florida State tonight. I think Florida State really is actually, not just because they beat LSU, but I think that they actually, under Norvell, are actually going to be a lot better this year. But it's 2.5. They're on the road against a pretty decent Louisville team. I just like Florida State for a small play. That's
I hate their coach. I like to root against them to lose. I never liked him. Brian Kelly.
All right, what else we got?
I don't like him.
You thinking Michigan minus 47.5?
No. What else?
I'll be there.
One other bet. Let's see. Bowling Green plus 17.5.
Oh, fire up the Falcons. What game number is that? Fine, sir.
120. No, where is that? Can't find it. So many games.
Well, you are the self-proclaimed. No, not self-proclaimed. You are the king of the MAC. I think it's in the 160s. Where are those little Bowling Green Falcons?
166.
Route 166. There you go, Bowling Green. So you're going to fade Marshall after their big
Fade
upset at
Marshall.
Notre Dame.
Yes.
And what number did you take Bowling Green at? Because it's 16.5 right now.
I believe I took 17, well, 17.5.
All right, so a little. I actually like the thought process there because it's in Bowling Green. Marshall obviously is clearly a good team. Notre Dame's awful though, but this is one of those situations where it's a letdown. It's a lot of points on the road with a Bowling Green team that actually can score. They're not good, but they can score.
I'm very disappointed with Bowling Green this year. I thought they were going to be much improved in the MAC, and they have not played it so far. So,
what do you think about my Eagles in the MAC with Chris Creighton?
Another big spread game. I don't know.
No, just in general. I think you
they're okay. I'm not in love with their quarterback this year. He came from Troy. I didn't like him at Troy. I don't know how good he's going to be at Eastern Michigan, but I'm not sold on him. But they have a different every year at Michigan, so they just go to the portal and pluck somebody every year.
Yeah, we'll wait till college basketball. We'll talk about Amani Bates for the Eagles basketball team. Were there any other games you were looking at that you didn't make a play on? But
I'm waiting to take my Lobos. We were talking about them just before.
Love New Mexico.
I won +3 on 130 New Mexico, and I can't get it. I'm looking. If it goes there, I'll be betting.
It's going to happen. UTEP, New Mexico, that's a 8:09 game tomorrow night or 8 o'clock game tomorrow night. Right now, UTEP 2.5 at the Lobos. And UTEP very bad. So I think New Mexico's going to win that game outright anyway.
I think they'll win. If long as their offense is a little better than they were last week. I'm not sold on their quarterback, Kendricks.
But explain again, why you get to 3-7, the key numbers in football.
Oh, well, 3-7 by far the two best numbers in college football. It's not even close.
Yep, you got to do it. All right, before we get out of here,
I'll take 3.
Before we get out of here, let's talk about your picks for the Westgate for Week 2 in the NFL. I doubt you had a play on the game last night. I actually liked Kansas City because it seemed like the Chargers were the logical and smart play, and that's why you take KC. That was just a wacky game. There could have been 16 different interceptions, but I'm sure there was no play last night.
No, I didn't like that game at all. All right, it was good.
What are we looking at for your Westgate picks this week?
I am not actually finished yet. I know I like the Broncos.
Ooh, you're after that great time management situation with Buddy Hackett.
Buddy, yeah. Well, his name's Nathaniel Hackett, but after that game, I'm just going to call him Nate.
I call him Buddy Wackett.
He's Nate Hackett because the guy's an idiot. Other than that, and then they better get better at coaching staff between last week and this week because every play call was so late coming in. It was bad. I don't know what they were doing.
So what did you lay on the Broncos? They're 10 right now.
9.
All right, what else are we looking at?
The Eagles. I'm looking at the Eagles. I'm not sold yet. Could be a possibility. And
Eagles right now -2 at home off that.
Yeah, I'm looking at bet lay something a little better.
Okay, so, what else?
They're a tough week in the NFL this week. I don't know. Very, very tough week.
It is. There's 2 games I want to ask you about, and maybe these are 2 that you're considering. One of them is the Steelers at home against the Patriots. I think Pittsburgh is the play there. Even though it's a 2, maybe it gets to 3. I think New England is in a lot of trouble with Mac Jones being hurt and their offense sucking. What are your thoughts on that game?
I'll tell you, the Steelers, they got lucky last week. Their defense played great, got a lot of turnovers. The problem with the Steelers is They're hard to bet without T.J. Watt. He's the most explosive defensive player, and I mean, he just takes over games.
But if New England can't score and Trubisky doesn't turn the ball over, I mean, Najee Harris is playing. I think Pittsburgh wins that game at home.
I don't care about Najee Harris because their offensive line's so bad. It doesn't even matter.
All right, there's one other game we got to talk about here.
I don't like either team this year. I don't think either team's going to the playoffs.
Well, I'm with you on that. We got to talk about this. There's one more game. The Lions, their first time they've been a favorite in 24 games, at home against Carts of the Commander and Washington. Right now, the Lions a 1.5-point favorite. I think the Lions, and this has nothing to do with me being a Lions fan, I think they are a bye at home today.
I kind of lean to the Lions. The problem is their offensive line is really beat up again.
It is, but it's a top 5 offensive line.
Yeah, well, they might be missing 3 of them, so forget that. I actually can see over in the game, and I actually farted around with some teasers over 40.5, 6-point teasers.
Okay.
The total was up to 50. It came back down because of their offensive line.
All right. Anything else? Anything else we're looking at NFL or leaning on?
Nothing. I agree with the Raiders move. Missed that. I would have laid 3 on the Raiders. That number's going.
Yeah, I hate that game. I hate the Cardinals. I like the Raiders a lot.
I hate the Cardinals. I hate
them. I think they're in big trouble. All right, Great stuff. Please check out sportshandicapper.com. Let's bring back in the nobleman, Jamie. Jamie, a big week for you and your country and the Queen and David Beckham waiting 12 hours in line. Are you looking forward to Monday, which is they're considering most likely to be the most watched event in human history? Over 4
really?
million people.
I'm looking forward to Monday because it's my day off.
All right, well, you get to watch the funeral then.
Well, no, I'll probably just play some golf instead. But
all right.
I do believe I put up the Baltimore Ravens last week, right?
I do believe you did.
Okay, and so
well, my play like it was last week. I had the Lions plus the 4 last week. I have the Lions minus 1.5 this week.
Gotcha. And this week's pick will be in college football tomorrow. Kansas against Houston.
Okay, let's get a pick from Starsky before we get out of here.
No, first I want to talk. Are you guys leaving or you getting out? I want to hear Seals College first, man.
We just went over Seals College. You gotta.
Seal, run it down for me again. Just give me your college games. What are you looking at? Give me rotation numbers and give me the games and why you're betting them.
We 119 Western Kentucky Hilltoppers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, very underrated team this year. Like the quarterback they got from West Georgia.
What's the line? Did you lay or did you take?
We took 7.
Took 7. How much you like it?
I just said very underrated team. West. I'm not sold on Indiana. I don't think they're that good to tell you the truth.
Okay, what else? Go.
They're 2-0.
What's the rotation number, Western Kentucky?
119.
119. Give me the next one. Go.
The other one at Bowling Green.
Yep.
166.
Yep.
17. Good spot against Marshall coming off that big win at South Bend.
Yeah, that was a big win against Notre Dame. Yeah, there was a lot of big wins for teams last week. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what the funny thing is? A lot of these teams, big win, like 17 or more dogs, like points. Yeah. They're like 82% the next week.
When they're on the road? Are they on the road this week?
Huh?
They're on the road this week or at home?
Yeah, they're on the road.
They're on the road. Interesting.
Yeah, but they do well, surprisingly, against the number the next week. They do really well.
All right, Bowling Green, what did you take?
17.
17. Go ahead. What's next?
Well, haven't bet it yet, but we're looking for New Mexico plus 3. Game 130. Cannot get 3. I'm still looking. But
what is it? Painted 2.5?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you like New Mexico? What are you looking at?
I don't like UTEP this year. I don't. They were way better last year. Same team too. They're a funny team.
Okay.
Very strange team. But New Mexico, their defense is top notch.
Okay.
What's his name? Rocky Long. He can make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Rocky Long.
You make 11 8 out of 11s.
Nobody better than Rocky Long. Might be top 5 defensive coordinators all time in college football.
Okay. What else you got?
I have real good teams this week. I have another lovely team, Rice-A-Roni.
Rice-A-Roni. You always love Rice. Give me your rotation number.
Rice-A-Roni plus 11.5. 192.
Why you like Rice?
Not sold on Lafayette this year either with the new coach. They lost a lot of guys to Florida. They're 2-0, but they weren't very impressive.
Eastern almost got him last week until the end.
Huh?
Eastern Michigan almost got him.
Eastern Michigan was right
weather
with
delay.
It was all turnovers.
So let's talk NFL. What did you think about that game last night? Kind of sucked, huh?
I thought the line was good, and it fell right there.
It did fall right there. Pretty close on both the side and the total.
Yeah.
What do you like this week in NFL? What are you going to be Westgate Circa? What are you going to be using? Give me something.
We just went over all this.
I know. I want to hear it again. Go ahead.
Right.
I'm probably going to use the Broncos.
I'm the one that has to bet it, Dan. That's why I want to hear it. So.
Well, I know we're doing the show here. I want people out there twice.
No problem. Yeah, Broncos. We'll get more info out of me than you asking Seal. Why you like
really
the Broncos?
Tough week, but the Broncos are definitely probably one of them, and I might come back to the well with the Eagles.
Okay.
Wait, I don't know. That
Broncos last week, you had all those teasers for -0.5, right?
Oh yeah, that was a lovely ending. Lovely ending.
That was a fucking mess at the end. Go ahead, keep going.
Russell Wilson played good though. He threw for about 330. He had a good game.
He did have a good game. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence on a lot of these games. It's a tough week.
Just give me some of them. Give me two more that are jumping out at you. Not the whole thing, but just give me two more. You said Broncos. Give me two more games jumping out at you.
Eagles.
Eagles. Why the Eagles? Because you're from Philly.
I'm a little disappointed in their defense against the Lions. I thought the very aggressive. They barely blitzed. They got no pressure.
The Lions. I mean, that was a big cover. I mean, they covered. Me and Dan talked about that last week. We talked about them being a underdog bet on team this year. What else besides the Eagles? Go. Give me one more.
Seal, what are your thoughts on Cincinnati against the Cowboys this week? With obviously Cincinnati going down against Pittsburgh last week, and then the Cowboys quarterback going down.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Joe Burrow's going to last.
Cover, no?
I don't know if Joe Burrow's going to last behind that offensive line. He took some shots. He might. I hope he has a good life insurance policy because he got pounded.
Yeah, he had a big second half though. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, his offensive line is leaking.
Give me one more game. We're going to talk about this in detail later on, me and you tonight. But give me one more team. Give me one more big lean.
Probably the Saints.
Why the Saints?
They usually beat them. I mean, New Orleans matches up great with Tampa. They beat them in 6 games.
I had them in the Circa Survivor. My entry in there. I had that.
Yeah, they're lucky to win though. They were down 8-2 quarter.
Barely. Yeah.
Don't remind me about Survivor pools.
Huh?
Cincy, don't remind me about any Survivor pools.
Oh, yeah, Survivor?
Survivor pools week 1 is always the toughest fucking week.
By
you don't
far.
know what to expect. Especially now, like even back in the day when there was more preseason games and players actually played longer, you had a better idea of what was going to happen in week 1. But now nobody plays. So you don't
Nobody plays. Hardly anybody plays.
No, it's Sean McVay's fault. He started this thing like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
No one's played preseason anymore.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's interesting.
Live dog.
One of the things we're going to look at next year, Seal, is week 1. Like since these quarterbacks, so many of these quarterbacks don't play preseason at all. Although the defenses do play, we're going to look at unders in the first quarters and first halves. There was a lot of low-scoring first quarters last week. You know,
Starsky, you also brought up something really good though about quarterbacks playing against former coaches. Talk about that for a minute.
3-1. Coaches 3-1 last week.
Yep. Wentz got lucky. Everyone else lost.
You got another one this weekend. You got Jameis Winston. Coming back to Tampa Bay. That's another one. That's the only one I think this week. I had Jamie look at them. It's the only one we were talking about.
Yep.
But Pete Carroll. I mean, look at it. My theory on the whole thing, and it's not something that we've bet over the years a lot. But my theory is like when you're a head coach and you have a quarterback, not a guy that plays for you 1 year, and even Seal brought this up. Like even when quarterbacks leave, they go into different systems. So there's a lot of changes. They could be playing in a different system. But the coaches
know the tendencies.
If I was coaching an NFL team, I would know the tendencies of that quarterback. I'd be able to prepare for him better, and that was the theory I had last week. That's what we were looking at. So we're going to look at that Tampa Bay game this week. So
that theory was quite great. All right, before we go, we have Seal. Seal just gave us picks, but Jamie, you mentioned your play again.
Well, in the NFL, Cincinnati, and in college tomorrow, Kansas.
All right, for me, it's right back to the Lions. It's nothing to do with being a Lions fan. I think the Lions were the play last week. Starsky obviously was smart and agree. We both agreed on that. And I think the Lions are going to take care of Washington at home. The Lions fan base is rabid right now. It was standing room only last game. Washington's not very good. I like the Lions -1.5. That's my play for the week.
Washington looked pretty good week one. Wentz actually played well.
Yeah, they look good against an awful team.
Jacksonville's not that awful.
Jacksonville's awful for now. They'll be good in 3 years.
They're not that.
Starsky, what's your play of the week?
You know what? To be honest, I'm not going to give out any picks right now. I'm leaning like Seal. I lean Broncos. I think it was a tough fucking loss. If anything, right now the games I only read them once. I didn't really get into them. I got to go over injuries later on with Seal. You know, he watches the practices all week long. But right now, I'm going with the Broncos. I'm matching up with Seal and the Broncos.
All right, I like it. All right, before we get out of here, parting shots start with Seal. Nothing political, Seal.
When's the funeral for the Queen? Monday.
Monday. There's 3.
It's like, to me, I equated to taking a bar of Xanax, but that's me.
Jamie, what do you got?
Jamie?
He's just a fucking idiot, isn't he? You know? No, isn't it Canelo and Triple G this weekend as well?
Yeah, good fight.
Don't forget, it's kind of under the radar.
That's going to be a great fight.
I think Canelo's like a 4-1 favorite, right? Is that right, Seal?
I don't know. It's just the third time they're fighting?
Yeah, it's the third time they're fighting. But Triple G, he's up there. He's over 40 years old now.
40?
I mean, Canelo's coming off that loss. I love Canelo. I think he's a tremendous fighter. I love him.
How much are they charging for that fight?
I'm not laying
$79,
400, but
$79 for the fight? I think I'll pass.
Right. By the way, Canelo's minus 500, Starsky.
Oh, it's up to 500?
Yeah, Triple G's plus 380.
Wow.
I mean, that fight's all about betting round props or
like,
finishing
I
props.
love Canelo, but if you look at that price, I'm not laying 500 on a boxing match against Triple G.
Yeah,
if anything, there's probably value in betting Triple G.
Yeah,
that's a lot of public betting money that people love Canelo. It's a lot. He's coming off the loss. It's a lot of public betting money driving that up.
Yeah, and Starsky, as you know, same thing with UFC. You don't want to lay 600-700 on an MMA fight because so many times look at Holly Holm. She was 15-1.
Yeah, there's no value. It's just crazy.
No value whatsoever. That Holly Holm Ronda Rousey fight, 98% of the money was on Ronda Rousey. 98% of the tickets were on Holly Holm, and she was 15-1. You got a parting shot, Starsky?
I'm looking forward to doing good in the contest. Seal did real good in the Westgate last week. He went 4-1, 3-2 in the circuit. Not great, but there's plenty of time left. I went 3-2 in the Westgate, 3-2 in the circuit. Not great, but if we keep all weeks above 3-2, we're gonna have a shot at the end, which is great.
Winning weeks are all you need, Starsky. That's 32 is not terrible.
The only thing I'm disappointed, we did the Westgate Gold contest this year, which is the big one, and we went 2-3. The Eagles fucked us. I need your Lions fucked us actually. So I mean,
you liked the Lions.
I know I did, but I have to go. This is a group effort, and I have to ask other people about what they like, and I had to go with the Eagles. And
they had covered 7 of 8 home games.
I know. We
would. And that means what?
2 would have been better than 2-3. But that contest is interesting because there's less than 100 people in it.
Right.
The prize is big, and we got a lot of time left. So
Starsky, you'll go 5-0 this week. You got plenty of time. One bad week. Everyone had a bad week last week.
It's the whole team. So let's hope the team goes 5-0. Yeah.
All right, for me, Roger Federer retired. He's one of the greatest athletes ever, one of my all-time favorites.
Tremendous.
My dad turned 75 yesterday, so happy birthday to the Papa Squatch.
Nice, congratulations. I saw the picture of him on Facebook when he was younger. You guys look a lot alike.
I know. It was a classic Doc Leach pick.
It's
like
looking
70s.
at you. It's like looking at you if it was like 70 years ago. Yeah.
All right, well, listen, that's going to do it for us here today. We'll see you next time. Don't forget ScratchCaddy.com for all of Jamie's great golf picks. SportsHandicapper.com for the champ of the Westgate. There he is, the great Seal. Handicapper 911 Squatch picks. It's all out there. We gonna get Sideburns on next week? We're Sideburns.
Hopefully.
Never.
He went 2-3 last week, so we're not bringing him on.
Yeah, he can't. He's got to have a winning week so he can come on.
Yeah. When he goes 5-0, then we'll bring him on.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks so much for watching the Sports Edge powered by SportsHandicapper.com. Until next time, you reach for the stars, believe in the dream. We're out.